Senator Abdul Ahmed Ningi is a seasoned Nigerian politician and legislator, representing Bauchi Central Senatorial District under the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the National Assembly. Known for his extensive legislative experience and commitment to development, Senator Ningi has been a prominent figure in Nigerian politics for decades. His political journey began in 1999 when he was elected to the House of Representatives for Ningi Federal Constituency, a position he held for 3 consecutive terms. During his tenure in the House, he served as Majority Leader from 2003 to 2007, where he played a critical role in shaping legislative policies and promoting good governance. In 2011, Senator Ningi transitioned to the Senate, where he was appointed Deputy Majority Leader. His leadership and advocacy for progressive reforms have earned him respect among his colleagues and constituents alike. Currently, Senator Ningi serves as the chairman of the Senate Committee on Sports. Throughout his career, Senator Ningi has been a strong advocate for quality education, improved healthcare, and infrastructural development. His dedication to public service and his constituency remains unwavering.
Hello there, a very good evening to you and welcome to the program NASS Unplugged. Today, our guest is a seasoned politician. He has been in the National Assembly for quite some time, from the House of Representatives. Now he is in the Senate. He is Senator Abdul Ningi. He's representing Bauchi Central. It's good to have you, sir.
Thank you very much. A pleasure.
All right. So just yesterday, you were appointed as Chairman Senate Committee on Sports. I just want us to delve right into the issues. And sports in Nigeria is one, there has always been a lot of debate concerning sports in Nigeria, probably because of how important sports is to any country. Now that you're Chairman Senate Committee on Sports, what are those things that you hope to do that will bring like a change in the sporting industry in Nigeria?
Well, thank you for that very, very good question. As for me, one of the verified weapons for national unity has been sports, which has not been given its due importance since the beginning of our democratic experiment in 1999. Sports unite this country more than any other thing. And for me, as a person, all my life has been sports. Yeah. Right from my primary days, secondary school days, my university days, in fact, my entire adult life revolves around sports. I can tell you before my graduation in the university, I've been able to travel through the nook and crannies of this country. And what took me in each part of this country is actually sports. That brought me to the unique characteristics of Nigerians. Even before I joined politics. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that successive governments have failed to understand and appreciate, it is when you take these young men off the street and you engage them in sporting activities, that you see crime nosedive completely. But because sports is a service industry that does not give money, that not bring out money, very many governors, and in particular the federal government, hardly pays attention to its cardinal role, what it does. You recall the 80s, the 70s. When you go out of this country, and you said Nigeria, what comes to mind across the globe is our sporting prowess.
Yeah.
Is what we have been able to achieve and what we have been able to showcase as a country and even as a continent. Today, when you go out of Nigeria and you mention Nigerians, what comes to people's mind globally is crime. That is because we have paid lip service to what we are very good of. We have paid lip service to what we have been able to showcase our worthiness in the Committee of Nations. By and large, you go to international sports meetings and you see wonderful Nigerians representing other nationals, the Netherlands, Turkey, Bahrain, United States of America, Canada. And not only appearing for those countries, but also winning for those countries. In the last Olympics, we couldn't win a medal. But did you take time to know how many Nigerians won medals for other countries, including golds? Over 5 that I recollect, 5 golds, about 4 silver, 4 bronze were won by Nigerians in diaspora for other countries. And therefore, when I came to the National Assembly in 1999, I made it a choice to belong to sports committee. Even while I was the Senate leader, I was the House leader, between 2003 and 2007, I was a member of the sports committee. And when I came to the Senate in 2015 and became deputy Senate leader, I also made it a point to also belong to sports committee. And now, when the opportunity arose, and the Senate president called me and tried to sound me as there was a vacancy in the sports committee, I wasn't doing badly as the chairman of the National Population Commission. As for me, any committee is important. I've been here for a very long time. This is about like my 18 years in the National Assembly. And therefore, I grab it. Even as some other senators, I say, no, it's a lesser committee. Let's take him to a bigger committee. I wanted to see if we'll be able to change the narratives. I wanted to see if we can be able to change the way government sees sports, especially civilian governments over the years. You recall, successive ministries or ministers that were appointed as ministers between 1999 to date were all appointed just based on let's have a minister of sports without looking at those ministers who are coming to superintend sports ministry, which means these are people that have no passion for it. They were just sent as civil servants. And sports is about passion. It's about personal interest, personal commitment, whether you play it physically like us or whether you like it like other people who tend to love particular clubs and become passionate about it. So sports is not just like an ordinary thing that you say, you go and hit that sports ministry and make it a success. But I think what actually also made me accept this particular assignment is because there is a clear need by President Bola Tinubu in trying to change the status quo. First, he created this commission. It's no longer a ministry, it's first commission. Yes. That is what we had about 30 years ago, that we have made those names. And now also bringing somebody that is very passionate, very accomplished sports administrator in the name of Shehu Duko. With those two ingredients, and being a member of the Senate, and also having the knowledge almost in and out of the sporting industry, I think it is clear that given the opportunity, we are going to turn around sports in this country. You won't believe We have 6 matches to play for the World Cup qualifier. We missed the other one. And it is now a 50-50 chance that we'll make it.
So do you think we can turn this around? Just like you said, we missed the first opportunity. Do you think we can turn this around and, clinch a ticket to go for AFCON?
Yeah, it needs some government intervention and a lot of prayers for Nigeria. Government intervention where they fund what we need to have, and then get the right coaching crew, and get the right players who are not only good players but also committed players who carries the flag in their heart, not just as a show that I'm a Nigerian. You look at quite a number of players that we know who are extra committed, who can die on the field trying to bring laurels for Nigeria. And you can only do that if you try to balance what the players received from their mother country, the care, the appreciation, the understanding, the recognition that the nation gives to these players. It is what will make these players also committed. By and large, if you look down the historical lane, most of our big stars fall by the wayside. Even after giving their all, immediately they stop playing for the country because of age or they are not informed. That is when the nation forgets them. So there is no way they can give their best. While you bring international players, play for their country, got injured, the nation doesn't put in anything.
And then
they go back to their, and then you want them again to come back and give in their best. It is not possible. So we want to reorient the government as it were, to understand everything about life is give and take. It is just give and take. It is not a one-way traffic. And I think when we do that, I think we'll start seeing changes. It may not come immediately, but certainly, with that hope, we'll move sports to a better height.
You mentioned something very important, which is funding. One of the issues that has bedeviled the sporting industry is inadequate funding. Just like you mentioned, people want to give in their best, but at the end of the day, not much is being done for them. How do we address this funding shortfall? Can we have more private organizations or private bodies, also fund? Because it is not just government. Most times people are looking up to government for funding. How about the private sector?
You see, funding, when you say funding, first of all, let the government see sport as a priority, first and foremost. Most of these sporting nations that excel are actually not funded by government. They are funded by private concerns. In 2002, we came with a bill that we're trying to say 2% of the profit of some international-based companies should be collected to fund sporting activities in Nigeria. The bill has reached an advanced stage. Unfortunately, we had to go for election. And when we came back in 2023, my colleagues who partnered that bill couldn't just return. And even at that time, we were having challenges because people do not understand why sports should be a priority. Why is education a priority? Why is sales a priority? Like I said from the beginning, this is something that gives this nation the kind of aura, the kind of stake. For those of us that go to Saudi Arabia, in the time past, when we enter taxis and you tell them you are Nigerians, they say, Amokachi, Rashidi Yakini, Penny the Judge. Sometimes they give you this free because you are coming from a sporting nation that has actually brought about international stars. Today you go out there, only one name you can remember, maybe Osime, and then you begin to scratch your head. Who again? And that is where we are, Mariam. And it is a very sad commentary without trying to remember how we came about, what we came about. A lot of countries spend a lot of money for PR. We are already being endowed. We are the most endowed sporting country in Africa, if not within the world, because of our prowess, because of our ability. Nigerians can do anything, but they need support. And therefore, it is the government that will initiate this move for international companies that do business in Nigeria. Most of the World Cup, Olympics, actually funded by companies. But there has to be a priority by government. Why is it that still United States becomes number one in sports? Is it because government is funded, because government prioritizes sports from the primary school, secondary school, university level? Do you know now, you hardly find sports in secondary school? Even at the university level, very few universities engage in sports. But when you travel to America and you excel in one sport or the other, they give you scholarship. You run your course. And when you finish and you are very good, they take you and you become a multimillionaire. Does that happen in Nigeria? No. We have a long, long way to go. But first and foremost is that we need to make sure that sports is a priority for us and for the children yet unborn and for the generation that are looking for what to do, how to do, what to do.
Let's look at infrastructure in all of this. We know that sports without stadium for the athletes to train and also the right equipment, there is no way they would excel if they are not training. And if you look at the state of our stadiums, they are not really where they should be in terms of infrastructure. You go to Moshood Abiola, sometimes grass everywhere and all that, they're not taking care of the place. And then these athletes lack equipment. They lack things to practice with. How do we resolve this issue? Because we were talking about funding. We just finished talking about funding, but another thing that is lacking, which I've noticed, is also adequate infrastructure.
It all boils down to leadership, putting a square peg in a round hole. If you're being a sportsman and you remember times without number, when you go into a competition and you win, there is no qualified to quantify how happy you are. And when you lose and you be shedding tears, even if you are an adult. We lost so many in the course of my sporting activities. At times, I lose a match and I come home and I will cry. And everybody will cry. We may not be crying on the field, but we'll cry outside.
Yeah.
And that time, we are not crying because when we lose, we'll get money or not. There was no money involved at all. It is because of the name, because of the pleasure that is derivable in winning, and the sadness that you could see in also losing. I don't know whether you have taken time to go to joints when Nigeria play matches, and when we lose, you see the contour of sadness in our faces. And when we win, it is because people who are saddled with this responsibility to administer sports do not understand. It is not something that you can buy in the market. You have to feel it. You have to know it. You have to remember that this is something that you must do so that you get results. A sporting activity is something like a goal getter, something that is imbibed in the minds and hearts of sportsmen. It is not just like this professional that are taken for money, and when they lose, they will still get the money. When you compete for your country, it is something that it is undescribable. The feeling of enlightenment, the feeling of I am representing Nigeria. How do you imbibe that to the people when you don't take care of their immediate needs? That is the problem. I agree with you, the stadiums are bad. But you also remember, those stadiums were put by who? Government. How did they become this bad? Because people don't prioritize sports, particularly state governors. They don't, not all, they don't give a damn about what is happening. It's because they don't understand what it is. There are other governors who are doing very well in terms of patronage, in terms of funding their clubs, and in terms of also looking after the stadium. But fundamentally, you also made a point of government cannot have it alone.
Yeah.
If government cannot have it alone, then the government must find an alternative. When government could not run education alone, they created ETF. That's how it is. We need something like ETF.
To have like a special fund.
A special fund.
Yeah.
We have the police fund. We have the educational fund. We need a sports fund. We have a housing fund. We need a sports fund. But you need to have leaders who will be on the same page with you. So it's just not something that a lot of thought. People believe that it's just about how many people play sport, how many of them would vote for me. That's as far as some people are concerned. But it's much, much beyond that.
You know, over the years, there have been crises within, will I call it the sporting industry in Nigeria, NFF, NSC, and all of that. And I think to an extent, this has also impacted on the performance of sports in Nigeria. How do we go beyond all those bickerings?
It is a reflection of what happens in the country, where corruption is so embedded. At a time you hear that some players have to pay to be invited for camping, even when everybody notices that a particular player is so good. First, he has to have a godfather. Second, he has to cough out money. So a lot of things are done wrongly. And it will still come down to the basis, passion. Madam, I tell you, if you give somebody ₦1 trillion to turn around a small club in a village, if he doesn't have the passion, it evaporates. It has to be something that is somebody is passionate about. There are people who are passionate about something. So even when you get money and give it to the wrong hands, it will still be the same story. Government will have to dig deeper because government is still bringing out money. The way even government is funding sports shouldn't have been the normal thing. We need to understand how is sport funded in the UK, how is it funded in France, how is it funded in Germany. Why are they successful? They are successful because they are organized. They are successful because they have a mission. They are successful because they have a vision. They are successful because they have a target. And they are successful because they know where they are coming from, what they have inherited, and therefore what they can add on. But you know, we are taking steps every year is a step, not forward, but backward.
Yeah.
You can't not imagine. We went to World Cup, we went to Olympics, and we didn't win anything. And Gambia rolled out billions, and they came back. No discussion about it. Heads have no role. There's no way this will happen in other countries. If you are a coach and you ask for particular funding and you are provided with funding and you go for a competition and you fail to win, the least is you get sacked.
Or
You get
honorably
sacked.
resign.
People, we are Nigerians, we don't resign. We don't. But you should be sacked. Or whereby it is seen that monies have not been utilized the way they are. You sanction them. The last Olympics, they are more official than the number of athletes. How can that happen in a normal sense society? But it happened, and when they came back, nothing happened. Nobody was interested again in it. The only thing that people can just complain, we've lost, we've not win anything. And it goes. And if it is the same opportunity arises tomorrow, it will be the
It
same.
will be the same thing.
There's no way government will be spending monies and they go down the drain and no sanction. And then you expect anything out of it. It is a tragic story of Nigerian sports. But hopefully, with Shehu Duko overseeing the New Sports Commission, hopefully, since we start getting better.
We hope so too. Distinguished, before I let you go, you have been talking about being involved in sports. So do you still, apart from hockey, what other sports do you do?
Yeah, I play hockey, like I said, on the floor up to the national level.
Yeah.
But I'm also a passionate lover of football,
Okay.
basketball. Me, as you see me, I'm in love with all sports.
Okay.
The only sports that I'm not close to is cricket. Every other sport that you see, I at one time or the other did it. Basketball, table tennis, volleyball, football. I see hockey as the one that I'm so best of. And that's why I was the immediate past president of Nigerian Hockey Federation.
Okay.
And I'm still attached to it. What do I get out of it in terms of financial? Nothing. But I give money. Even as I speak to you, in 2019, I took our boys to South Africa and I spent 54 million naira. Even as I'm speaking to you, for on behalf of the ministry, because the ministry gave us just a percentage of money that when we came back, the money is still not settled. That's 2019. Count the number of years from 2019. I'm still involved in it. And that is a tragedy. That is what it is. People that are also working there have lost interest. All they care about is how do I make money? How do I make money? How do I make money? And therefore, we need a complete turnaround. We need a complete reorientation. We need politicians to understand this sport is just not about going to win medals and come back. What it does internationally, and most important thing, it takes our young men off the street and make them a better person. And I can say, I asked somebody to do a research for me while I was the president of the Nigerian Hockey Federation. Within hockey circle, let him conduct a research between 1999 to 2021. Out of all the Nigerian hockey players, who is involved in one criminality or the other, believe me, across the country, we were able to establish just one former hockey player that was arrested somewhere not because of this typical theft, ganja smoking or something like that. That was actually every other person who had ever played is still where he is. He's not a criminal. And I'm sure if you go through football, it will be the same. If you go through basketball, so if you get them involved at a particular time in the age of a human being, his brain is like a football field with a lot of energy, zooming for action. If you don't create positivity for him, the other side of the brain will create negativity for him, and he goes there. And whatever he goes there at that particular age, he will excel. When you have a newborn baby and you ask a psychologist, a newborn baby, his brain is like a football field without any implant. And the brain is looking for attention, something. And that's why you see a baby that was born can take 10 languages at a go. He can understand Arabic, English, his native. At a go, as you are teaching him, his brain is capable. But as he's growing, he will slow down. So a young man at a particular age, he must be harvested for the good of himself and the country. We don't know it, we don't see it, and we don't care about it.
Now, distinguished, you have been in the National Assembly for quite some time, for close to 2 decades. From 1999, you left in 2019?
2015.
No, you came back to the Senate in 2015.
Yeah, I was in the Senate 2011, 2015.
Yes, then you left.
I left and then
you're back.
Yeah.
You must be doing something right for the people of Bauchi Central to, always troop out to vote for you. Can you share with us what it is that you think has endeared you to the people of Bauchi Central?
First of all, foremost, you remember that you are where you are, not because you are the best. You are where you are because your people say so. And therefore, when you find yourself in a position, you always remember that you didn't bring yourself there. There are people behind it. And therefore, you try all the time to get in touch with their community, to get in touch with their people, to be able to also represent them. It is not enough for you to just assume that because you are a leader and those who sent you are now your subjects. One of the terrible problems that I've seen over the years is when people found themselves in a position of leadership, particularly when with the National Assembly, and they take that for granted as if they're the alpha and the omega, and therefore relegate their people. It is a very difficult thing, Mariam, I can tell you, to be able to get in close to people. But why are you running away from people? It's probably because people are disturbing you. That means you must have sold dummy to people. You must have tell them lies. You must have allowed them to create an impression that there's something you're trying to hide from them. All that you need to do is to come to level time with the people. I have this, I'll be able to give you this, that. But if you begin to say, when you come to the National Assembly, you don't have it, or you have it, you don't get. The world has changed. This social media has brought people closer to what is happening.
Yeah.
And what do you do? If you get something out of being a member of the National Assembly, what does it stop you from taking a percentage or whatever you have back to the people and begin to also show them that when you finish from wherever you are coming home. And that means you are not segregating yourself from them. You are not showing them that you are more important because you are a member of the National Assembly. And then the greed, the human greed that we all have is what actually spoils a lot of colleagues. When they have, they would like to amass, and then thinking if tomorrow comes, they will take something that they amass and maybe get back home and buy people. This buying people is for a limited period of time. The more you engage people, the more you use less resources, the more you subject yourself to being in their midst. It's not easy. It's not easy, but because you are a third-world politician, you know that those things are necessary ingredients that will make it possible for people to remember you and to vote for you not once, not two times, as many times as you desire, because you get close to them. But when you show them that you are smarter than them, they'll find out what you have. If on their own they found out what you have, before the story gets home, they will multiply what you have by 10 and say that is what you have. And you allow these things to get, they allow them to get judgmental. It's not an easy thing, but it's a necessary thing. And you come to the National Assembly and you also try to make them see you. Let them see you fighting for them. Let them see you talking about them. Let them see you being serious about their problems back home. Some people said, you don't need to do all those things. That all you need to do is acquire more money, and then when election comes, you go. For me, I don't see that the right thing. And therefore, you go to my house here, there is no policeman. You go to my house in my village, no policeman. You go to my house in this, my headquarters Bauchi, no policeman. I may not be able to satisfy everybody, but at least I can beat my chest that those that come across me or I come across them, I've never showed them that they are nothing. Even if I don't have. It's not every time I have. And I will tell them it's not every time. But once I have, I make sure I share it, and some of them witness it. Even where I don't have, I make sure when I come to the National Assembly, I have a project or two. Not only in each local government, in each constituency, that I can say, this is my own. That when you go, and I send you, I say, you tell them you're coming from Senator Ningi. Before they do anything, he brought this water. He brought this light. He brought this school. He brought this scholarship. He gave us job money. And this is what we do, Mariam, over the years. It's difficult, but it's doable. And when you do it, you'll be happy that you have done it for people who are less privileged.
Well, I must thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to have this chat with you. I have been speaking with Senator Abdul Ningi, a household name here at the National Assembly. He was a one-time member of the House of Representatives and now a Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He is the immediate past chairman of National Population Committee, MPC, and presently the chairman Committee on Sports here in the Nigerian Senate. It is always a delight to speak with you, sir.
It's a pleasure, Mariam, and your team. Thank you very much for coming.
So that's it on the program today. Thank you for staying with us. Join us again, same time. Thank you.